day to you wherever you are listening to us from anywhere in the world. And my name is Samuel Toby, and this is the final series in this three-part webinar series that we started earlier in the quarter. And today we're going to be listening to Jerome take us through how we can position ourselves to go from CV to interview using well crafted CVs or well crafted resumes. And Jerome is already here. And just so we do not waste any more time, I would like Jerome to go ahead and present his screen and share hands so that I can go ahead. Jerome would also be introducing himself, but just to give a snippet of who Jerome is, Jerome works at the African talent company, JOBBERMAN. So you would know that he has inside knowledge to what your CV should look like. I mean, he's literally working as a product manager in the HR industry. So, yeah, in the talent industry. So, we're going to be hearing the best tonight. So, yeah, Jerome, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm Jerome, product manager at the African Talent Company, which is like the umbrella company for Africa's largest recruitment platforms, which comprises of JOBBERMAN, Nigeria, Ghana, Brighton, Monday, Uganda, and Kenya. So we have um, I wouldn't call it shops. I'll call it shops anyway. We have shops in or presence in East and West Africa. Samuel already did chunk of the introduction. Initially, I wanted to come with a slide. I'd already prepared the slide halfway, and I thought about the time factor. And top of my head is we're just going to go right into the nitty gritty, and so as not to just come and so it's just going to be more interactive and more about doings. And so I will just share my screen and we'll just be using a template, a CV template, which we would use for, I'll call it demo. Yeah, more like demo for building the CVs that convert for product management career. So feel free, it's definitely going to be an interactive section and I would love engagement. You can either drop your questions in the comment section or you can use the question functionality here, the Q&A functionality, if you want to go anonymous. And feel free to ask any questions or call my attention or add your own contributions or submissions. So I love engagement and I would love it to be that way. So we'll just go right into the business of the day. So this demonstration would position us for both local and international roles, especially for most of us who aspire to um, gain those opportunities, international opportunities. And aside from being within the recruitment domain or HR domain for this long, my own personal experiences also, as I would also share my own personal experiences and see how much I can leverage that to dish out impact or value over the course of this section. So all right, cool. So Sam, you can help me call my attention to questions as we go along in the section. So this is a demo CV, more like a CV template, already structured for a PM role or a PM career already. And this is a default template and we're going to enhance it and structure it to suit and bypass the different levels of the recruitment process. So the first level is bypassing the ATS functionality, which most organizations or most HR um, um, structured teams leverage on for their recruitment processes. Why? Because it helps with automation and it helps with the seamless movement of the whole shortlisting and moving the candidates from one hiring stage to the next hiring stage. And the ATS has already been automated, and recruiters have already imputed the lowest or the minimum criteria that they seek in a particular role, based on the job requirements and the job functions. So, which is why most often people don't get past that initial stage of application, and immediately you get that default rejection email, which is very, very worrisome and disturbing to a very large extent. So we need to understand that phase. And another thing deep down my mind is to call the attention of the fact that for every application, the CV needs to be customized to fit the job requirements, rather than just submitting a default CV for every job requirement. So there's it just has to be strategic and it has to be tactical, so as not to lead to burnout. I can understand when people say they are tired of submitting applications. It's crazy. It's worrisome and it can be exhausting, and it can also be demoralizing. So those are the key factors I just want to point out for us to understand that it just requires some level of skill, just like some school of thought will always say. Job application or job search is work on its own, and it's skill. It's skill. It requires some certain skills on its own for you to get yourself where you want to get yourself when it comes to job applications. So we'll just go right into the demo section. For example, the name of this candidate is a reporter, and the profile. We'll start with the profile section of the CV, and for this, basically, for some, um, I want to ask a question. Do you feel adding phone numbers to your CV is good or bad? What are your thoughts? Is it good? Is it bad? Or is it it just depends? Please shoot, go for it, please.
Okay, so at first, before I respond to that, I want to call everybody else that if you want to answer any question, you can raise up your hand. And if you have questions, you can raise up your hand as well. And you can type your questions in the chat box or send your question through the anonymous field like we already have some. Okay, to answer your question, I think like most product management questions, it depends, right? For example, applying to the banking industry, most times I have to put my phone number, but in startups, most times it's just email. So I would say it depends. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for that. Any other submission or feedback? Any other alternating thought process?
You can check the chat box. There are a couple of
Oh, okay.
that are coming in here. To read some of them out, Latifat said it's not
Oh,
necessary.
cool.
Role is more effective.
Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. So
Denike
just like,
Kosumo has an opinion, but here you can go on.
okay. No, feel free. Share. Let me just
Okay,
focus on
so
this
I think
rather than juggling
Tosumo's
between the
opinion
screens.
is some people say it's bad. Well, if you're using a resume ATS scanner, it indicates it's better to put your phone number.
Cool. Makes sense. So it's either way.
Very
It's
good
either
example is
way.
Japan.
Exactly. So it's just good or bad. So which is why the thought around customizing the CV is very, very important. You don't just shoot blank. It's best to be very strategic and target your goals in terms of and the key goal or the key outcome of every application is being hired or getting hired. You know, so you need to be very, very strategic. It could be bad, it could be good. Just like Samuel has said, if it's applying to startups, he doesn't consider adding the phone number. And also for those of us who are considering getting hired or getting international placements, it's not recommended because the fact that one, some due to the location barriers, depending on the particular company. Um, Perception and also perception bias could step in for some recruiters. So it's better you don't lead them on, but just keep it minimal and try to play safe. Locally, it's two ways. It could be good, it could be bad, and just like we've said, over time, you just need to be strategic and realize where it's applicable and where it's not applicable to add or to remove the phone number. So traditionally, yes, it's fine. Just like someone said about the ATS scanner, it's nice to add it, especially for local or within the African setting or within our local demography. It's fantastic. It's good to add it. I've had instances where I mistakenly sent the other version of my CV for a local for a startup here in Nigeria. And along the line, there was some miscommunication, and the email was there, but they weren't ready to leverage the email. And all they were just doing was asking, why did I sent out a reminder to find out, hey, what's up, follow up to find out, hey, what's up? And they told me, hey, they tried reaching out, but they couldn't find my phone number on my CV. And there, I couldn't move on with the hiring process or to the next stage of the hiring process. So it could be good, it could be bad. So just be aware of where it's applicable and where it's not applicable. So another thing is, how do you position the phone number? It just varies. You could just decide to include the international code if you feel the international organization you're targeting or the multinational organization you're targeting is remote friendly and willing to onboard without geographical barriers. Anybody within the world without geographical barriers, and you can decide to add the phone number, but ensure that you're adding the international code, which is for Nigeria is +234, or if it's any other country you're joining us from, remember to always add the international code if you feel it's suitable and the company you're targeting or you're sending your application to is remote friendly and recruiting without barriers. So for us, I will just do this. For example, assuming we are doing building the CV for positioning ourselves within the Nigerian demography. This is it. It's basic, but it's fine. Next is the email. For the email, it's best it's hyperlinked. The reason being that one is easier for reach out. The recruiter could just click on the hyperlink and the default emailing system or emailing tool could pop up, and it's already automated, auto-populated your email to send to, and they can then shoot out whatever email they want to shoot out to you. So best bet is, I always recommend ensure to hyperlink your emails. Don't just leave it blank. Ensure to hyperlink it. And for those who don't know how to hyperlink the email, it's just this. Just do this. Jeremy, so once you just do this, all you just need to do is this. I know these are all basic, but for those who are not aware, I'm just doing this and I'll try to be as fast as possible so that we can just leverage the time that we have allocated for this section. For location, do we think it's advisable to add your location or it's not advisable to add your location? Just one or two responses.
No location.
I think
Why,
it's
please?
advisable to put it.
All right, cool. Any other submission?
I think it's advisable to add your location.
All right, cool. So, yeah, just like we said, it's advisable, it's not advisable. So, it still boils down to being strategic. Who are we targeting? For within the Nigerian domain, it's fantastic. Add your location. You could add just the city. For example, you could, if you're based in Lagos, you could add Lagos. But alternatively, if you're seeking remote roles and within the same Nigerian demography, it's also advisable to add another column which says open to remote. For example, I'm based in Lagos and I am open to remote roles, still within Nigerian demography. I would advise to also add your open to remote, open to remote, so that it's clear that you're not just limiting yourself to a particular demography still within Nigeria. So this is how it's advisable to position yourself. If you want to go the extra and you're targeting multinationals outside Nigeria, it's advisable to also indicate that, for example, you've indicated here you're open to remote, which means you have built your skill around working asynchronously across board, or you have the experience working asynchronously. This helps to position yourself rightly. And if you're looking at targeting multinationals that also offer relocation, it's also advisable to also indicate that you are open to relocation also. So this just works. And this has been what has worked over time for both my seniors or mentors and also has worked for me over time. So this is what the recommended structure should look like. So back to the basics, which is being strategic. Just know where to apply what and how to apply what works. So that's just it. So this basically kills it from my personal experience and from others whom I look up to their experiences. I don't know if there are any questions, feedback, comments.
There were a couple of questions in the anonymous field.
All right, cool.
Would you like me to read some of them out now, or do you want to answer
please
them?
do.
Okay.
Please do. So long as it's still within this scope that I've covered.
No, there is one that is about skills, showcasing skills. So I don't think we'll
All right, we'll get there.
So, yeah,
We'll get
so
there.
you can.
Yeah, we'll get there. So for links, also back to links. What links do we add to our CV? Just like someone mentioned, the ATS scans the CVs, and if the ATS senses some irrelevant links, and there is a limit to what links you can add to your CV. So from recommendation or based on experience, the only link I would recommend to add to your CV would be the link to your LinkedIn profile. To me, I just feel the LinkedIn profile alone should be more like your what do you call it? More like your portfolio. If you want to go the extra on your LinkedIn profile, you can add the link to your portfolio. This is from my own experience, but if you feel adding the link to your portfolio on your CV works for you, perfect. Please stick to it. Another thing is, how do you position your LinkedIn profile so that it becomes appealing and attractive? Most of us have not done that on our profiles, and it's best to go down to your profile and customize your LinkedIn profile URL. It gives you the opportunity to customize it just like this, tailored to your first name and your last name, or whatever username you want to add to your profile, so that it just becomes appealing and suitable, and it doesn't have the characters, the default characters attached to it. So that's what I would advise. Or alternatively, you can just put the keyword here, which is LinkedIn, and hyperlink it to your LinkedIn profile. If you feel within this space, within your profile space, you don't have enough space to accommodate the entire URL characters, you can shorten it by having the LinkedIn keyword and hyperlinking it to your LinkedIn profile also.
So
For
before
the
you,
sorry, go
Jerome,
ahead, Sam.
before we go on to the next question, to the next session rather, section, there's
Yeah.
a question from Latifa. Latifa's hand was up just now, so Latifat, would you like to go
Okay,
ahead?
thank you. Although he just covered it because I put my own LinkedIn as hyperlink LinkedIn. Then I put my CV through a CV roster, like an AI something. And then one of the feedback was saying I should add my LinkedIn link to it. So I wanted to ask, is it better to just write it out like this? Maybe that's what the ATS is to catch.
Yeah, just like I said, exactly. If you feel within this section, there isn't enough space to have it spelled out full, the URL spelled out full, you can just use the keyword LinkedIn and hyperlink it to your profile. The best bet is always try to spell out the URL so that it gets picked up by the ATS itself. Hope I answered the question good.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. So for the summary section, it's from experience, it's best to keep it simple, and best to highlight your experience over time. For example, for entry level PMs, you can look at what you've done previously or where you're coming from, and just add something to show that you possess the skills to position you rightly for that entry level position. For some of us who have gathered some level of experience, it's best to just highlight your experience, the skills that you possess, what you've areas, domains that you've had opportunity, what type of product have you worked on. For example, we have categories of product: B2B, B2C, B2B2C, or we also have the D2C. So just specify so that it's highlighted as regards your domain experience and the category of products you've worked on, and highlighting your skills that you possess that will position you for the next level opportunities that you are actually seeking or targeting. Just like I've mentioned or mentioned over time, these can also change from time to time depending on the role or the opportunity you're targeting or you're shooting at. So please endeavor to keep it simple. No more than recommended is no more than 3 lines. But if you have to go beyond 3, don't go beyond 4 from experience and from what those who are far experienced recommend. Don't go beyond 4, but keep it simple, 3 max, and make it simple, concise, and very, very targeted. I don't know if there are any questions and feedback before we move to the next sections.
Please, could
Some.
you repeat what you said? Should not be more than
Oh,
4 lines.
oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
So for the summary, the career summary, it can either be helpful, or it can either mar or kill or spoil the opportunity you're targeting at. So best bet is ensure that whatever you're putting as your career summary should cover one, the skills you possess to position you rightly for the next opportunity you are shooting at, the product types that you have worked on. For example, we have products within the B2C, the B2B, the D2C, or sorry, the B2B, B2C to B, or the D2C. And also ensure that the standard, or not the standard, the recommended from experience is keep it simple, concise, and ensure that it doesn't go beyond, if you have to stretch, 4 lines, but minimum or maximum recommended is 3 lines, so that you don't give too much and it then hurts you. So just keep it concise, simple, max 3 lines. If you have to stretch, 4 lines. Don't go beyond 4.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Sam, are there any other questions within these sections
Yes,
I've
there's
covered before
a
we move to
hand
the next section?
from Emanuela Henry. Emanuela,
Sorry, good evening.
good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Sorry, I wanted to just ask if we will receive the recording after the session
Oh yes, you will. Yes.
via email.
You can. It will be shared on Slack, and we always post to the YouTube channel as well. But if you want it immediately after the session, you can request from Slack at Samuel Toby. Yeah.
Okay, but I'm not on the Slack channel. I don't know how to join that.
Okay, so you can join the Slack community through the website www.peopleinproducts.co.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Jerome?
All right, cool. No questions in the comment section before we
No
move to the
questions,
next
yeah.
section.
Yes.
All right, cool. This we are moving into the experience section. Most times what happens is for entry level candidates who tend to don't have or have not had the opportunity to hit the breakthrough, the barrier to entry into the industry, I always recommend, if you are fresh in the job market, try to ensure that you've done one or two things. If you've undergone a product management course, just look for one or two things that you can add. It could just be during your internship, and tie it around what product management skills can be applicable, so that you can position yourself rightly. And for example, I would use the experience of an entry level candidate who is trying to break into the PM role. If you are graduating, whatever course you study doesn't matter. What matters is what it is that you have to offer, and how you can break entry. Best bet, I always recommend, take a course. When you take a course, ensure you have something you've worked on. If you don't have an idea of what you've worked on, it could just be an Excel sheet that automates whatever it is, an Excel sheet that automates something tangible that you can say this is what it is, and you can translate experiences and outcomes of the usage of that particular product, and add it to what it is that you are trying to position yourself rightly for. For those who have had experiences, I would focus more on those who have had experiences or who are trying to transition or position themselves rightly for the next opportunity. If we have time, we can still talk about the entry level phase and how to position yourself and your CV for that next level opportunity. So for those who have had some form of experience and trying to transition to product management, best bet is whatever it is you've done in the past. For example, I would use the example of someone who has worked within the operations domain. You have worked within the operations domain, and you have one customer centricity skills. 2, you have coordinating skills. 3, you could have some form of project management skills, and 4, you could have some form of stakeholder management skills also. You can look how you can position your current responsibilities and also your current achievements, and see how you can tweak them to showcase these product management skills that can be attributed to those responsibilities or those achievements within your current role or your previous role within the operation space. So that's what I have advised, and it has worked for some. And that's what I always advise. Don't just limit it. For example, there are some roles within that space that seems you feel you're not doing something related to product, but you're already attributing or acquiring some skills, some product management skills, and even showcasing it by applying it to your current role. For example, an e-commerce manager or e-commerce operations manager, for example, if you take some time and reflect on your responsibilities and also your outcomes or achievements over time, you find out that 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 typically fits into the role of a product operations person. Because one, you're managing several stores, you're managing customer feedbacks, you're the first point of line for customer issues before you then escalate to the second level or the third level of support. So you can tie back those skills, those experiences, and see how you can tweak them to showcase these product management skills that would help you position yourself rightly for the next level or for that particular product management position that you're targeting. So please do not just feel you don't have what it is currently. No, deep down you do have it, and which is why we always recommend just try to take for starters, try to take, if you're transitioning, try to take a product management course. We have several of them within the community, the Slack community, the learning channel. You can find enough resources, and you can always ask questions when you join the community, and you get necessary support so that you just have that baseline that would guide the next level and the next steps you can take to position you rightly. So for this now, for experienced PMs who, no matter the number of years or the number of months experience, this is what I would always recommend, or it is always recommended. For example, our reporter is a senior product management. He works currently at Ogwat Software, and he's worked there since 2015 to present, which is his current role. So, for example, what do you think comes to the mind of a recruiter when they tend to see the company name Ogwat? 1 or 2 submissions of feedback. You as a recruiter, you are definitely shortlisting candidates for a senior product management role, and you come across a reporter CV, and you're scanning through his CV and ensuring that you can then know whether to proceed with him to the next stage or not. You see Ogwat Software, what comes to your mind?
A school software.
School software, interesting. Any other submissions or feedback? Thanks.
I think it's a software where they sell things like maybe home cleaning stuff.
All right, cool. Thank you so much.
People are
Anybody?
That box, Jerome. People are shouting
So that brings me to where I was heading to. So it's always best to write a one-liner that explains what the company, your current company does. For example, it just helps rather than the recruiter going the extra mile to start doing some research about that particular company. Just briefly add a one-liner just below. You can add it beside it, or you can just add it below the company name. You can just add whatever it is. It could just be leading IT software development company in Nigeria or in Africa. Anything, just something, one liner that depicts, or that the recruiter could just read and just summarizes what that particular company does. It could just be in bracket here. You could just add it in bracket beside the company name, and that works. So it saves the recruiter the headache, and the recruiter then understands that, yes, this person has saved me time. This person really understands what exactly I'm looking at, and I believe this person already knows what it is. I don't know if that helps.
So there's a question. When you say summarizing what the company is, do you mean summarizing the problem they're solving as well, or the industry that they're in? Or can you give an example with an actual company that exists in Nigeria? Maybe
okay, let me do this. For example, okay, let's do this. Let me do JOBBERMAN, for example. Sorry guys, no advert, but that's just what comes to my mind. So for example, for us, we are leading recruitment company or HR tech company in Africa. Anything, just something brief. In Africa or sub-Saharan Africa. Just anything brief works. I don't know if that works. So recruitment already states the domain and just positions that particular company. So anybody reading this already understands what JOBBERMAN does already. And if you want to go further, you can then go ahead and do your personal research.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
There's also a question from Oguchuku. You can go ahead, please.
Yeah, you can go ahead with your question.
Hi everyone. Jerome, so please, how do you figure someone who doesn't have any kind of product experience to go about this kind of thing that you're explaining? Because me, for instance, I'm trying to transition. The last place I worked was like NGO, and I worked under the CEO directly. I worked as a personal assistant, so I don't know.
For that, you could look at what attributes you have you taken any product management course?
Yes, I have, and I have also done like one tear down, just one.
So, for example, you could tie back what exactly it is that you've done being a personal assistant, and you can also add the field works that you've probably participated in. For example, coordinating teams, coordinating stakeholder meetings. It could just be coordinating or writing reports. It could just be what else again? Responding to inquiries or first level inquiries or first level inquiries from external or internal stakeholders before escalating to your CEO or your manager.
Okay, I get you. Thank you.
You're welcome. So another thing that is recommended or that is always advisable to add is the company growth stage. What stage is the company currently at? It's also recommended to add it if you feel you want to add it, but it's worked over time, and it also helps to position you rightly too, so that it gives the recruiter a sense that you've had or you've built some form of culture within their own target environment. So, for example, it could just be growth stage here, and or it could be seed stage, anything, just add it, and you can just add it and have it there. So just whatever it is, but just ensure that this tagline, you have this tagline which depicts or just gives the recruiter a glimpse of what exactly this company does, or where exactly, so that the recruiter understands where you're coming from, and which also could position you rightly for, as in perfectly for that target opportunity within their own space. I don't know if there are any questions before we move to the next section. Then
there are no
also,
questions yet, Jerome, but
okay.
I think we may need to go faster because we have like
Yeah, sure. Once we get to the achievement, any other person can duplicate whatever achievement or whatever within the next section. You can duplicate that for any other roles. Then we can move to the other sections.
Oh, there are questions. There are hands raised in the chat box. There's a
All right,
question
please,
from Ian Hyperion,
briefly,
so and quiet.
so that we can just leverage the next 15 minutes.
Okay, so do I go ahead? Good afternoon, good evening. All right,
Yes,
please. I just want to ask. I know you mentioned we can put our accomplishments. What of responsibilities? Is that necessary? Thanks.
No, I'm just getting there, or I'm getting to that section now.
Okay, sorry, I have a question. All right, so I heard that it's not advisable to put the years you spent in a particular company. This is concerning the fact that sometimes you spend like close to 1 year or 1 year and some months. I also that recruiters don't like to see that the amount of months you stay in a company is short or something. So it's just better not to put in the year at all. What do you think about that? What do you have to say about that?
It's always advisable to put the year or the period you spent within a particular organization. I think the bias towards how long you spent within an organization there's a shift, there's a mind shift towards that bias within the HR space. It's two ways. How long I spend within an organization could be that it could be my thing or it could be the company's thing. And recently, it's always about one or two things. It could be bad. I had to leave. My mental health, my manager was not supportive. I needed to just get myself well and just make that move. Otherwise, I wouldn't be alive to even apply for this particular role. So recruiters always ask the question. So I think that bias is dying off, or it's dowsing down, and there's always this conversation as regards why did you leave, or if there are any gaps within your previous role and your current role and your current start role, your start date for your current role. They always ask a professional recruiter will always ask you why. And all you just need to do is just to explain and let them understand why you left or why it took you a while before you got your next role or your current role based on the last time you stopped working. So it could just be maternity leave that brought in or that led to that gap within your current start date and where you left off from your last role.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so the next section is just like someone asked, is it advisable to add responsibilities and achievements? From experience, two ways you can go about that. If you feel you have enough room to add your current responsibilities, fantastic. Or you can just do a brief summary of your current responsibility. It could be 3 lines, all in one paragraph, or just 3 lines within one paragraph. Summarize your current responsibilities, highlighting what it is you currently do, what products you currently own, and what teams you currently lead. So it could just be structured. So most times the mistakes most of us have made is mistaking responsibilities for achievements. So responsibilities are basically what it is we currently do, as in what are we to do or what it is we do. That's basically what was done. Sorry, if we're positioning ourselves for the next level. So responsibilities are basically what was done, and achievement basically evolves around what was the outcome of our input or effort, which at what exactly shows what it is we have done over time. So that's the difference between responsibilities and achievements. So back to this, if you feel you have enough room, enough space, best bet is summarize your responsibilities, 3-4 lines. Or if you want to put them in bullet points, you can just add them in bullet points. Your three, you can just highlight 3 or 4 responsibilities and just have it there in bullet points and just have it there. Then you next is you have your achievements. I don't know if that helps. So you just have them. If you feel you have enough room, you can highlight your responsibilities in bullet points. Or if you feel you don't have enough room, you can just summarize your responsibilities, highlighting what teams you currently lead, what product you currently own, what side of your platform or your products you currently own and you currently champion, and just anything you feel that could just showcase your overall responsibilities. If you feel you don't want to add it, you can skip that and you can just stick to your achievements only. So down to writing achievements. So for achievements, basically, which are outcomes of your efforts over time, where you currently are or where you were before, or your current position or your previous position. So achievements help the recruiter understand what exactly are the outcomes from your efforts in your current role or your previous role. Measurable outcomes, measurable impact that your efforts have led to within your current organization or your previous organization. For example, an example of achievement could be for KYC, your efforts in process reengineering of your user journey or your user onboarding led to 30% increase of or reduced the time to value for customers to 10%. So it could just be actions that we are taking based on your efforts over time that you have keyed into or you have put into your work, into your responsibilities that has led to those outcomes. Another example of achievement could be, for example, you are in charge of KYC process within your domain, within your current organization, and you led the initiative for you to digitalize your KYC process and integrating with a KYC service company. And you integrated into their API, and it led to faster turnaround time of the KYC process for the company by 10%, 20%, reducing churn rate. So it could just be something actionable using action words, action verbs that can depict the effort and showcase the outcomes of the effort. So best bet, add your best 3 to 4 achievements and make sure they are concise, not more than 2 lines. Summarize them to not more than 2 lines, and boom, you're good to go. So you can duplicate same for all your previous roles and apply same to all your previous roles, from the company down to your responsibilities to achievements, and you can replicate those across board. Any questions? So down to skills. Over time, I've made the mistake of just having jam packing or having to jam pack all the skills onto just a summary. And I have realized over time that I've always shot myself on the foot, and it's not really it's not really depicting exactly your skills, your domain knowledge, and your domain experiences. So experience wise, and from feedbacks I've gotten over time, it's best advisable to um, decentralize your skills and your domain knowledge. For example, what I do now is I just, rather than just having a skill summary here, I just do knowledge areas. This is what I do. I just use knowledge areas, and I decentralize. I decentralize the skills by tools. Next is I do product management skills. Product management skills. And I do domain or industry, anyone you want to use, domain or industry experience, anyone, domain or industry experience, you know, so that it just showcases your experience within one, your skills, what tools are you familiar with, and also be strategic too, based on the jobs you're applying to. Ensure to read the job description, the requirements, and to ensure that the tools you have used can also align with the environment you are applying to and what tools they currently use. For product management skills, ensure based on your level, based on your capacity, the skills acquired over time are tailored to the job requirements also. So, and the industry knowledge too, ensure to add your industry knowledge. You never can tell. Maybe the previous industries you've worked in the past might be what the current company you are targeting are currently within or playing within. So it's best to highlight your domain experience, the tools you are familiar with or you have competence in using, and your product management skills tailored to the job requirements. Best bet is for these three domain areas or these three knowledge areas, ensure that the total number of tools, product management skills, industry, or domain experience does not exceed 20. Don't go beyond 20. Don't go beyond 20. Just limit it to 20. Whatever, that's the total of the three knowledge areas. Just keep it 20. You can keep it below 20. You can go below 20, but if you're going maximum, don't go more than 20. So, all right, cool. Shoot.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. So please, for these skills, what about soft skills? Is it important to add soft skills?
For your CV, it's so long as you're not an entry level PM who is seeking entry level, or you don't have any PM experience, it's not advisable to add soft skills. But if you have acquired some level of product management experience, maybe you're currently an associate, it's not advisable to add the soft skills, because it's expected that you already have these competencies, or you are building them already, or it's in progress. So it's not expected to add them. You're not expected to add them from experience and feedback I've gotten.
Thank you.
Cool. So we move down to the education section. So for Ross, who have so for this, best bet is most times we always mistaking education and certifications. We always combine them together, which over time I've gotten the feedback and I've realized that it's best to separate professional certifications from education. Another thing I have learned is, well, feel free to add, but for me, over time, and feedback I've gotten from recruiters is just take out the year of graduation. Feel free to add, but from my own experience, it's best to just take out the year of graduation because no one cares. No one wants to know. All they want to do is probably during your onboarding, you need to present whatever it is they're asking for your onboarding and whatever it is. But over time, it's also the reason why when I asked, and it helps to put some bias into the recruiter's mind. So it's best not to lead the recruiters on. So take it off, and if you're being asked, you can then state. The best bet is take it off. Please shoot your question. Ask your question.
No, I was just gonna ask why we should remove it, but you just answered by saying the bias.
Yeah.
Bias. Okay. Can you speak more about the bias? Is it that if you
Um.
recently graduated, they might not take you seriously? Is it that if
Yeah. You might have built some level of competence that matches the requirements, the job requirements, and probably you just recently, maybe they just have that bias that, hey, how come you have developed these skills, you can't graduate so year and you are attaining for a senior PM role or a senior PM position? It's not aligning. But you know that based on your previous work that you've done, you have the competence to match the job requirements here. Even if your achievement, your experience level indicates that they see the year of graduation, to them it just seems it doesn't match. So it just leads them on to disqualify you.
Thank you for answering.
You're welcome. So for this, best bet is to separate your education from your certifications. And when it comes to certifications, ensure that the most relevant certification that matches the job requirements are what are that are what you position right here on your CV for that particular role. For example, if you are applying for a PM with, and they are seeking a PM with product analytics skills, it's best to highlight your certifications within the product analytics domain and every other product certifications that are most relevant to that role based on the requirements. Another thing I've learned over time is to ensure that you arrange your certifications, the hierarchy of your certifications from the most recent down to the least recent in terms of dates. So you don't just add, or you just don't just mobile them up within this space of your certification. So arrange from the most recent down to the least recent certifications, and ensure that certifications you are listing align to that particular job that you're targeting or you're applying to. Overall, in terms of the CV size, best bet 2 pages is fantastic. But if you can do and limit your CV to 1 pager, fantastic. Because recruiters have that impatient. You don't have that patience to scan through multiple pages of CV. For font sizes, recommended is for normal text, use size 10. For headers or subheaders, for headers or subheaders, use size 11 max. Then for coloring, for section highlighting, for example, experience summary and the different sections, try to put some colors to it so that it just creates that feel, that vibe, and that it's appealing to the recruiters eyes when they are reading, and they can easily just demarcate or differentiate the different sections. Any last minute questions, feedbacks? I think we are 1 minute late already. Sam, we can do 4 minutes, right? For questions and feedbacks, right?
Yes, we can take care, definitely. We will have time
All
to
right,
take more
cool.
questions.
All right, cool.
Sorry, can I go ahead? Or
Yes, please, you can.
okay, I was gonna ask. You said arrange the certificates in order of date. So then, do you put the dates on the certificates that you've acquired?
Yes,
Unlike
please. It's
unlike the
fine.
education.
Yeah,
So what's the
exactly.
difference between education and certifications? Like,
Education could be your normal education. It could be you are a bachelor's degree holder, you are an MSc holder, you are a diploma holder, but you went through the normal school for education, certifications, professional upskilling. There are product management certifications, the free ones product school is offering, and some other institutions who are offering, and some other bodies offering free. It could just be the boot camp, the product management boot camp you've undergone or underwent. You can just add it there under certifications, and you're good to go.
okay, thank you.
So there are other hands raised. There is Cassiana. Cassiana's hand is raised as well. Jerome, you can actually.
All right, please free to ask, please, Cassiana. Cassiana, I can see Cassiana's hand,
Oh,
Johnson's
we don't see.
hand.
I think you don't. You can.
Yeah, I
Good
can
evening.
see a lot of
And
people's
won't ask
hands.
that one.
So, my question is, I have two questions. For the certificates, there are professional certificates and non-professional certificates, like the PMP certificate and the kind of certificate I would get as an entry level from old school or people in product management free learning certificate. Is it advisable to separate it, like professional and non-professional certificates, or just put everything together as certificate?
Yeah, it's fine to add. It's fine to just keep it together, so long as it's not the regular school um, degree or course. Just professional is professional, which is more like upskilling. Anything to just depict that you've acquired extra skills in alignment with the current role or the current position.
Okay, thank you very much. Then the second question, like some of my friends' CV, they add that they did voluntary works. For example, they're a member of the Red Cross, or they're a member of the food bank, and they're a member of a particular NGO that take care of sick people. Is it okay to add it, or it's something that the recruiter does not have any business with? Because some persons say it actually shows the recruiter that you have empathy. So I don't know.
So just like I said, irrespective of the domain you had or you have a previous experience in, just ensure that whatever skills you've acquired over time, you would always find one or two skills that you've acquired within that experience that you can tie back to your product management, that you can tie back to your product management career, you know for those, it could just anything. You always find something, especially if you understood the required, maybe you underwent a boot camp or some sort. You would always find something that you can tie back. All you just need to do is just tweak the achievements and let it just. You don't need to even cook anything. Tweak it so that it just and fits into that experience that you are actually aspiring for. So it might not be 100%, but it just shows that you've built competence within a particular skill area that you can apply to your current role that you're aspiring for.
Okay, thank you very much.
Cool. I can see Johnson. I can see Michelle. Who else? So I've shared the template. I would also Sam will still also share the template that we used for this section within the Slack channel. So I've shared it on the chat, so anyone can pick it up from there. Sam would also share that too within the Slack channel, and some other resources I will just put together that we can also leverage.
Okay, sorry, sir. I just clicked on the link. They said I need access. I should request access to view the document.
Oh, okay. I'll just change.
Okay. Thank
I have a quick question. If there's space on the CV, can we add like interests, organization, or languages? Like if we know more than one language, like aside English, can we add them to our CV?
Feel free to add if you have enough space. Feel free to add language, anything. It could just, it could just be that a particular company you're targeting might require someone who speaks English. So feel free to just add, tweak, and be strategic.
Hello. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is Chimeje speaking. Please, I want
Sam,
to
let me
ask a
know
question.
when we are due.
Hello, I want to ask a
No, we can
question,
still
please.
go on. I think that we should close in 7 minutes, though. At
Okay.
8.
Call the
Hello?
shots whenever you're ready. All right, cool. Please
Hello?
go ahead with your question.
Okay. I want to ask a question. Like in this product management now, like the certificate say you should add on the CV. Like if you get a certificate from Alison Udeme, is it okay to add it in the CV?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay.
All right, sir, I have a question. Do you think it's advisable to add links of projects you've worked on? Like, for example, when you have experience at a company, you put in the link of the app or the web app of the company according to each experience you've had.
One thing about the ATS is too much links. It lacks too much links. So, best bet is possibly just highlight your achievements. You can just state it in terms of the metrics, trackable metrics that can easily be related to. And another thing, another way of doing this is your LinkedIn profile. You can just see how you can just map whatever it is you've done to add to your LinkedIn profile that really depicts, projects you've worked on. With the links, you can decide to add the links there.
All right, thank you.
Okay, and good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Jimmy. Good evening, everyone. My question is, and based on the experience aspect, so I want to get more clarity to how to write it when someone is just transitioning into PM or have entry level and already have maybe a boot camp. I want to get more clarity to how to outline the experience for people transition into product management as an
Um,
entry level.
I'm sure during your product management course, there are some that encourage capstone projects for you to
Yes.
undergo some capstone projects. So you can add that to your experience, and highlight the responsibilities, and also highlight your impact, which is the achievements based on the outcomes of your capstone project. What achievement, what did you achieve, based on the project you built, your responsibilities and your achievements. You can highlight those, but ensure that it's highlighting your impact that can be measured or can be tracked, just in that format.
Okay, thank you.
I think that we have time left for just 2 questions, and we would need to close the session for this evening. Thank you very much, Jerome. So I think I'll just call Chimeze and Buki. So Chimeze, you can go ahead. Okay, Farah's hand is up as well. Okay, so Chimeze, you can go ahead, and then we hear from Farah and Buki.
Okay, actually, I've asked the question I want to ask.
Oh, I thought you had another one.
No.
Oh,
Thank
okay,
you.
great. Thank you very much. Farah, you can go ahead and ask the question.
Hi, Samuel. Hi, Jerome. Mine is not really a question, no. Also, to remind Jerome to go and check his DM. Jerome, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You're laughing. Go and check your DM. No, 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 no,
But
no, no,
don't
no, no,
worry.
no.
I had a crazy 2 days. Don't worry, I'll check it.
So
I'll
you,
respond to you.
so
Don't
you just
worry.
go and check it.
No
Stop
worries,
my
it's
life.
fine.
Go and check it.
No props.
I
All right,
bombarded
cool.
your DM. In fact, you must be sleeping when I sent those messages. But then just go and check
No
it.
problem. No worries.